The boy who stuttered so badly that classmates called him an alien became the world's most beloved comedian. But Rowan Atkinson's transformation came at a cost. He discovered his stutter disappeared completely when he performed, but only then. Every Mr. Bean episode drained him emotionally. He called the character exhausting and looked forward to filming ending. The man who made millions laugh admitted he felt like a fraud. Now at 70, he's revealing how his childhood trauma shaped everything. The silent comedian finally found his voice to tell his story. This is the ultimate expedition into the hidden, heartbreaking truth behind the man the world knows as Mr. Bean. The boy they called an alien. January 6th, 1955. A freezing winter morning in Consett, County Durham, Northern England. Rowan Sebastian Atkinson came into the world as the fourth and final son of Eric and Ella Mae Atkinson. But before he could even say his first word, death had already visited the family. His eldest brother, Paul, died in infancy. The grief never really left the house. 3 boys remained: Rupert, Rodney, and little Rowan, the quiet one with the huge, watchful eyes. They lived on a working farm. Early mornings, strict rules, almost no talking at the dinner table. Rowan grew up feeding animals before sunrise, wearing hand-me-down coats 2 sizes too big. Nobody could have guessed this shy country boy would one day become the loudest, silent clown on the planet. Then, when he was about 5, disaster struck again. The words simply stopped coming out right. Simple sentences turned into endless battles. His tongue betrayed him, his jaw locked. Strange noises escaped instead of words. Doctors called it a severe developmental stutter. Rowan just knew it made him a freak. Durham Chorister School, an ancient elite private school, became his personal hell. The bullying was merciless. Because of his wide eyes and the way his face twisted when he tried to speak, the other boys started calling him the alien. They mimicked his stutter in the corridors. They laughed when he couldn't say his own name in class. Some days, he refused to speak at all. Future British Prime Minister Tony Blair was 2 years below him and later admitted, everyone knew Rowan was brilliant, but also knew he had it really tough. A 2007 article in The Independent revealed teachers had to step in repeatedly to stop the cruelty. Rowan spent break times walking alone around the school walls, whispering sentences to himself, trying to force the words out smoothly. But one day, something impossible happened. He stepped onto a tiny school stage for a Christmas play. The second the lights hit him, the stutter vanished. Completely. He delivered every line perfectly. The audience roared with laughter at his faces. For the first time in his life, Rowan felt free. That stage became his only safe place. That childhood agony became the seed of genius. The engineer who was secretly a clown. Despite everything, Rowan was academically gifted. He sailed through his A-levels with perfect grades in physics, chemistry, and mathematics. In 1973, at just 18, he won a place at Newcastle University to study electrical and electronic engineering. Everyone assumed he would become a scientist or inventor. Instead, he spent his evenings in the mirror pulling faces, inventing characters no one else could see. He graduated in 1975 and, following his father's footsteps, went straight to the Queen's College, Oxford, one of the most prestigious colleges in the world, for a master's degree. His thesis was on self-tuning control systems, the kind of subject that makes normal people's brains hurt. He even began a PhD, but something stronger was pulling him away from laboratories and toward the spotlight. At Oxford, he joined the Drama Society and the legendary review group The Etceteras, and in early 1976, a young screenwriter named Richard Curtis saw him perform for the first time. Richard later said, There was this strange, quiet guy standing in the corner looking like he didn't belong. Then he got on stage, and it was like watching a volcano erupt in total silence. I knew instantly we had found a genius. That meeting changed both their lives forever. August 1976, Edinburgh Festival Fringe.
Rowan, still an engineering student, performed to a national audience for the first time. Critics wrote, "A star is born, and he hardly says a word." The path was set. The engineer was dying. The clown had taken over. The years of rejection that almost broke him. 1978 to 1979 were the darkest period of Rowan's life. The BBC rejected him over and over. His stutter came roaring back in every audition room. Producers told his agent, "Fantastic face, shame about the speech." Rowan sank into depression. He seriously considered giving up comedy and going back to engineering. He told friends, "Maybe I'm just not meant for this." Then he made the discovery that would define everything. When he played a character, the stutter disappeared completely. He didn't need to fix Rowan Atkinson. He could hide inside someone else forever. That realization saved him and cursed him at the same time. Not the 9 o'clock news, from total disaster to British comedy revolution. October 1979. A new late-night sketch show launched that almost nobody watched. Rowan joined Pamela Stephenson, Mel Smith, and Griff Rhys-Jones. The first episode got fewer than 1 million viewers. Critics destroyed it. One called it the worst 30 minutes ever broadcast. But one BBC executive loved it and ordered a second series. Behind the scenes, it was pure chaos. Writers fired, budgets slashed, screaming matches. Rowan stayed quiet and watched it all burn. Then, in the second series, came the sketch that changed everything. Gerald the Gorilla. Rowan in a gorilla suit being interviewed by Mel Smith. When the professor says, "I caught him in the wild," Gerald explodes, "Wild? I was absolutely livid." The studio audience lost their minds. That one line is still quoted in pubs today. The sketch won awards across Europe and launched Rowan as the master of bizarre physical comedy. But by 1982, the entire cast walked away at the absolute peak of fame. They were mentally destroyed. Rowan later said, "We quit while we were winning because losing our minds wasn't worth the money." Blackadder, the most expensive failure in BBC history that became a masterpiece. June 1983, Rowan and Richard Curtis launched The Blackadder. Medieval castles, real horses, massive sets, rain every single day. It cost a fortune. Critics hated it. The BBC almost canceled it after 6 episodes. Only one thing saved it: an International Emmy Award. The BBC gave them one last chance, but with no money left. Series 2 moved indoors, added Ben Elton as writer, and became one of the greatest sitcoms ever made. Rowan's Edmund Blackadder evolved into the sarcastic, clever anti-hero we all love. The final episode of Blackadder Goes Forth, the soldiers going over the top in World War I, is still considered the most powerful comedy ending in television history. Rowan has said filming that slow-motion charge left the entire cast crying for days. Mr. Bean, the character that made him immortal and miserable. New Year's Day, 1990. A strange man in a brown tweed jacket drives a tiny green Mini with a paddock on the door. 18.7 million British people watched the first episode. The show was sold to 245 countries. Children in countries that had never heard of England knew exactly who he was. The 1997 movie made $251 million worldwide. But here is the devastating truth Rowan has repeated for 35 years. I have never, enjoyed playing Mr. Bean. It is stressful and exhausting. I always look forward to the end of filming. It feels like hard, physical labor. Because Mr. Bean barely speaks, every single emotion has to come through the face and body. Rowan called it the most complete and total acting imaginable, and the most draining. He once told an interviewer, "Playing Mr. Bean is the closest I've ever come to real manual labor." 2012 London Olympics, he performed live as Mr. Bean one last time. 900 million people worldwide watched. Then he went home and didn't leave his house for weeks. 2022, age 67, Netflix begged him to do Man vs. Bee. He spent days falling off ladders and being attacked by a real bee. Afterwards, he said, "I'm too old. My body can't do it anymore." The private pain behind the public smile. 1990, Rowan married BBC makeup artist Sunetra Sastry. Stephen Fry was best man. 2 children, Lily, 1993, and Benjamin, 1995. 24 years of marriage.
2014, he left her for 31-year-old actress Louise Ford, 27-year age gap. The British press went berserk. The divorce was final in 10 minutes, the fastest in UK legal history. 2017, Louise gave birth to daughter Isla. Rowan became a father again at 62. 2001, Kenya, private plane. The pilot fainted at 10,000 feet. Rowan, with zero flying experience, took the controls and kept the plane level until the pilot woke up and landed. He saved his entire family's lives that day. 2012, he gave a 9-minute speech in the British Parliament defending free speech. The law was changed because of him. Some called him a hero. Others accused him of protecting hate speech. 2023, he wrote a bombshell article in The Guardian saying he felt duped by electric cars, claiming they cause more emissions during production than petrol cars. Environmentalists were furious. It later emerged he owns one of Britain's largest supercar collections. McLaren F1, Aston Martins, rare Ferraris. Parliament even blamed his article for slowing EV sales. The alien theory that turned out to be canon. For 30 years, fans joked that Mr. Bean was actually an alien who fell to Earth. In 2024, the animated series finally confirmed it in an episode called Double Trouble. Mr. Bean meets clones of himself on a spaceship. Even the original 1990 opening showed him falling from the sky in a beam of light, while a choir sings in Latin, "Behold the man who is a bean." Rowan himself hinted at it in a 1993 interview. Now it's official. The boy they called Alien really was one all along. 70 years old, the man who still doesn't feel successful. January 6, 2025, Rowan Atkinson turned 70. He has won 12 major awards, been nominated for 18 more, made hundreds of millions, influenced generations of comedians. Yet in interviews he still says, "I don't feel like I've achieved anything. I'm constantly dissatisfied." The official Mr. Bean YouTube channel has over 35 million subscribers and 12 billion views as of late 2025. It earns up to $250,000 every single month, and Rowan doesn't see a penny of it anymore. He sold the rights years ago because, in his own words, "I needed to be free of him." The final confession. In a rare 2024 interview, Rowan finally said what he had kept hidden for decades. "Mr. Bean gave the world joy, but for me, he was a prison. Every time I put on that tweed jacket, I disappeared a little more. The laughter I created came at a price I'm still paying." The boy they called Alien learned to speak perfectly, but only when he stopped being himself. He made the entire planet laugh for half a century, but inside, the little boy who couldn't say his own name never quite stopped crying. This was Prime Discovery's ultimate expedition into the heartbreaking truth of Rowan Atkinson. If this story moved you, hit subscribe and turn on all notifications, because tomorrow we reveal another legend's hidden tragedy that will shock you even more.